Yeah! Last night we got to attend the world premiere event of Justice League. We got to see it with the cast and crew, the people who made the movie. We got to walk the red carpet. We got to meet the stars and hang out with them a little bit after the movie. I'll try to put out a vlog of, you know, the video and pictures we took at the event, just so you guys can see what it was like. If you're looking for a quick suggestion as to whether or not you should watch this movie, if that's all you wanna know, I would say definitely go watch it. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a lot of fun. It was my same feeling watching Thor. It's not a perfect movie, it's got its flaws. There are certain things that I didn't like, but overall, I very much enjoyed it and I'm definitely gonna buy it.
I had a blast.
Yeah. You definitely had a blast.
Yeah, I kept looking over at you. I'm like, did you find it funny too? Because I found it hilarious.
Yeah. Whether or not people are gonna hate on me for this, it was my favorite Zack Snyder movie to date. Just as a reminder, everything we talk about here on out is gonna be non-spoiler. We're gonna do our spoiler review on Saturday. We're hoping you guys can help be part of that by joining Stardust and submitting your reviews to us on Stardust. If you guys haven't heard about Stardust yet, it's an app you download for your phone. You can record reviews between 3 and 30 seconds long for trailers, movies, and TV shows. It's very easy to use, it's very easy to get into.
And what I love about it as well is it's really raw. Right after the movie, when we were at the after party, I was like, quick, let's just share our reaction right now. Like, we're so excited about it.
I really liked it.
I loved it so much. It's giving me all those Avengers vibes. I'm so glad Joss Whedon came on board.
Definitely a blast. You'll definitely enjoy it. If you liked Wonder Woman, you'll definitely enjoy Justice League. A lot of good laughs, a lot of good action.
So we would really love for you guys to participate and be part of our spoiler review. Please download Stardust using the link in the description below. Make sure to follow us first. And when you upload your review for Justice League, make sure to tag us both on Twitter at ACHARA KIRK and Jaby Koay so we have a better chance at seeing it and being able to include it in our movie review. Okay, so we're gonna do a category breakdown right now. Again, this is non-spoilers. Our spoiler review is gonna come out on Saturday, but we're gonna talk about various aspects of the film now. The first aspect I wanna talk about is, to me, that's actually a very important aspect to discuss, particularly with consideration to Zack Snyder. The tone of his films have generally been darker, more serious. And the easiest film to compare to last is Wonder Woman, because that was the last DC Warner Brothers film. With respect to Wonder Woman, how did you feel about the tone in this film?
I really enjoyed the tone in this film. I thought there was a really great balance between seriousness and levity. There were a lot of really funny moments. I know you compared it to Wonder Woman, but I guess for me, because I know that Joss Whedon co-wrote and he also helped direct some of the reshoots, it really had that Joss Whedon flavor, which I enjoy so much.
The last thing we're gonna talk about is directing and writing, but I would agree with you. It's what I have been looking for in the DC films. It doesn't surpass Wonder Woman in terms of heart, but it surpasses Wonder Woman in terms of fun. Just sheer absolute fun. It was serious when it needed to be, and it was humorous when it needed to be. I actually, in certain regards, liked it more than Thor, only because it wasn't poking me in the face with jokes every 5 seconds. I loved Thor Ragnarok. I very much enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, but the jokes got a little too incessant for me after a while, whereas the jokes here, it wasn't too much. It wasn't overbearing. It was just enough. Zack Snyder is obviously well known for his action since 300, Watchmen, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Sucker Punch. Like, these are all action films more than anything else. Obviously, he's known for like his, you know, comic book like directing. All of those are action laden. Immediately what I noticed was the difference between this and Wonder Woman in terms of the way Wonder Woman was treated. Wonder Woman, the film, was obviously an action film as well, but the way she moved was different here than she was in Wonder Woman, her, you know, own standalone film. It was a lot more stylized, a lot more comic book-like, more Snyder-like, to put it simply. I actually really enjoyed that. It was cool to see Wonder Woman move that way. I don't know if it necessarily surpasses the action of Zack Snyder's previous films, but the action wasn't ever overbearing for me. I didn't feel like I was overwhelmed. I didn't feel like at the end of it, like, geez, when is this gonna end? Like, I remember watching Man of Steel. I know there's a lot of Man of Steel lovers who are probably watching this, but in that third act, it was just like punch-splosion after punch-splosion. I'm like, golly, how long is this gonna go on?
Oh, yeah.
It was just a very bloated third act. Batman vs. Superman didn't fare any better for me. It was just loud. Wonder Woman was like on the cusp of being that, but it was just enough behind that line that I was able to really enjoy it. And here, the action had a lot of character intertwined with everything happening, and I think that's what made the action so fun, because it didn't forget to include the people. Like, it didn't forget to include personality, and I think that's what made it work so well.
Yeah, because it was all about the team in the end. It was like them helping each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, tag teaming on stuff. I think that worked out really well. It's not like the best action. Me personally, I really loved the fight scenes in Man of Steel, but there was just so much of Man of Steel. Here, it was like, was the action better than Man of Steel? No, it wasn't, honestly. But the overall package was way more enjoyable, and so I'd rather watch this a million times again before I watch Man of Steel. That's how I felt about the action anyway. There was some weird clunky movements with Batman when he was by himself, particularly in the first part of the movie. I'm not gonna say exactly what, because I don't want to give anything away. It felt like it was lacking momentum sometimes with Batman. I don't know if you picked up on that.
No.
But for me, there was like certain and maybe this is me being nitpicky because I'm an action dude, but there was just certain moments where it felt like there wasn't enough momentum, enough speed in the way Batman was moving.
I think he's an older Batman.
That's true too.
Because they did kind of bring that up.
But he was also falling slow, so it was just kind of odd. If you look at any reviews, one of the big things that people are gonna talk about is the plot, and it's just not being the greatest, but this film is more in the right direction of where DC should be heading. And I think I would have to agree with that to a degree. It kind of washed over me though, because I was having so much fun while watching the film, I kind of forgot that the plot was kind of meh.
Yeah, I would agree, because when you're there, sitting there watching the movie, it totally doesn't really matter that it's not the strongest storyline. You're having so much fun, and the characters are so much fun, and I don't know how many more times I can say fun, but yeah, it was really fun.
That is the quintessential word to describe this movie, because that's what you come away with, I think, at the end of it. Irrespective of the plot and the story not being strong, what matters here is the same thing that mattered with Guardians of the Galaxy. You had a good time watching, it was a great ride, and I think that's the most important thing here. There was some really cool moments. I can't say anything yet, but just know that when you watch, you're like, dang, it's just these goosebump-inducing moments, you know? It was
you like get so pumped. You're like, yes!
The plot moves like, it just goes. It moved a little quick. I'm like, whoa, so we're here already. Oh, now we're on this already. Okay, now we're already at that plot point. That's cool. It just moves along. It's the complete antithesis of anything Zack Snyder has done before. That's what's interesting to me. Especially compared to like Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. This movie moves. Yeah. It's like a boulder rolling down a hill. It just goes, you know?
Like the Flash.
Like the Flash. One thing that I think people were complaining about was Cyborg. There wasn't a whole lot of him in terms of personality, and I was expecting it to be awful when I watched it. Over the course of the film, Cyborg had his moments.
Yeah.
He wasn't the most standout character. That wasn't his fault necessarily. The reason why he wasn't the most standout character is because Flash was just such an amusing character to hang around. He stole the show. Him and Aquaman, like, they were just very jovial, whereas Cyborg was like, you know, woe is me, I've got issues, and this is like troublesome being me. That
was his character though. He's more of a serious character, but he did have some, you know, little light moments thrown in there. And I think he's a good actor too.
No, he's definitely a good actor.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying the character himself wasn't the most developed. I don't know the character that well. I've never read Cyborg in the comics. I've never seen him in any of the animations. So Titans. Cyborg is actually a very new character to me. I'm sorry in advance. Yeah. Joe Morton is an actor that you guys might not know by name, but you'll know him by face. He's been around a long time. He was interviewed by a friend of mine leading up to the movie premiere. One of the things he said about Cyborg was that it was kind of a representation of the Black experience. Cyborg was like kind of confined in himself and afraid to show himself to the world. Yeah. He needed to learn how to be comfortable with himself and you know, be who he is. I went into the movie projecting that onto the character. I am not sure if that was clearly communicated in the film.
Jason Momoa as Aquaman, I would have loved to see more of him.
Yeah.
But now I'm even more jazzed up to see Aquaman when it comes out next year. Flash, who I know you said stole the show, and he really did. He was so awesome. But I really enjoyed watching The Flash on the CW show anyway, so I was super excited to see him in this.
Overall, I think that the acting was really, really good. I think I like Ben Affleck more as Batman in this movie way more than in Batman vs. Superman.
It's nice having that kind of, you know, that serious Batman and then just undercut with a bit of a joke.
Well, whatever Joss Whedon brought to the table certainly helped to enhance his character. The way he reflects in a kind of a joking manner was good. It was definitely fun. I think that Ben Affleck did a great job, you know, in large part thanks to having a better role to play in this film. Bruce Wayne has a different perspective on things. He's a more interesting character here.
He's matured a bit. He's realized he can't do it all alone and that he needs friends.
It's the world's greatest super friends.
Just like in Nolan's Batman, you see the limitations of him being human. I mean, they point it out.
Yeah.
When you look at it on paper, you're like, what the hell is Batman gonna do next to these guys? And the film asks that question too. It makes you kind of look at that and go, he's just a human being at the end of the day. And I like that they added that element in there. I said earlier that this is my favorite Zack Snyder film to date, but I don't know how much of it is actually Zack Snyder. At the end of the day, he got the credit as director, but it feels the least like Zack Snyder. And I don't know if that was always the direction and all Joss Whedon added was a little bit tweaking here and there. Whatever Zack Snyder did here and whatever Joss Whedon brought to it to enhance it further, I think really worked. I didn't feel like the camera got obscured in action to the point that it was not visible anymore. I felt like I got a clear sense as to what the action was the whole time, and the action was made in such a way that it was actually a lot of fun. It was enjoyable to watch. It wasn't just explosions in your face the whole time. There were character-laden moments interwoven in the action, and I think that enhanced it even further. For me, the directing was on point here for the most part. There were some awkward moments. I want to watch the film again and see if I still feel that way after watching it again, but there was like 1 or 2 awkward moments with the direction where I was like, this is feeling kind of weird. But I actually laughed during the middle of one of the action sequences when I wasn't supposed to. I'll tell you why afterwards, I'll tell you guys why in the spoiler review. This film had some extensive reshoots. Overall, I think that given everything that was happening, given, you know, mustache gate, you know, I think that the film was actually really good. So,
I feel like Henry Cavill's mustache should have its own credit in the movie.
Should have its own trailer.
Yeah.
We met him at the after party and I saw his mustache and I'm like, that thing cost Warner Brothers so much money. You're wearing it. Like, it's like bringing your new girlfriend to your ex-wife's wedding. Like, that's just, why are you doing this, Henry Cavill? Joss Whedon definitely had his hand on this.
Yeah.
And he got credit for the writing, and I think it was well-deserved. Because you definitely got the sense of his tone, of his humor. You know, his writing style was definitely present. There were definitely lines here that were nowhere in sight in the previous installments of Batman, Superman, whatever, even Wonder Woman. There were lines here that were just the perfect response to the situation. And I'm like, wow, that was so clever and so well timed.
Yeah.
That's definitely Whedon.
After watching this, it was just giving me all those same feels that I got after watching Avengers. I was just so excited. It's just a great team movie. I'm so excited for the next one.
Before we wrap this up, there's one thing, and there's an elephant in the room I forgot to talk about. The villain of the film.
Yes! Oh, yeah.
Let's just say I didn't like him at all. Is that subtle enough?
Just put it out there.
Is that subtle enough? I did not like this villain whatsoever. I kind of hated him. He was all CGI. He was very one-dimensional. Even his goons, his minions, the thing that compelled them was a little bit weird to me. And I'm hoping that the next installment has a much stronger, well-developed villain that's not just this one-dimensional, I have to take over the world because I have to take over the world.
Yeah, why? Because I just have to.
I gave this a 5 out of 5 on Stardust. I don't know if I'm still gonna feel that way. I'm gonna watch it 2 more times like I said and see how I feel at the end of it. I may change that rating when we do the spoiler review. I think when I did the review for Stardust, I was just so excited. It was my feeling right after watching it. I'm like, oh, it's 5 out of 5, this is amazing.
I mean, it's not perfect, but just the feeling that you get after watching it is just so positive. How could you not give it 5 stars?
Right. So as I mentioned before, we're gonna do a spoiler review, and we'd really love it if you guys could participate and be part of our review. Make sure to send us your reviews through Twitter, tag us both. I think that Stardust is a really cool app. I was able to do things with it that I don't normally do. I'm looking forward to doing more kind of kooky reviews. I want to experiment more with it. It's a lot of fun, and you don't have to do a whole 30-second thing. You can literally just talk for 3 seconds, and then that's a review. If you feel like you got it all out in 3 seconds, then that's awesome, and that's almost funnier. That's what I did with Leatherface, essentially. I strongly recommend you guys check it out, even if you just want to, you know, peruse and see other people's reviews.
Yeah, I'm one of those creepy creepers.
Check it out, see if you like it. If you don't, cool, but if you do, follow me first. So that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Please follow ACHARA KIRK on the social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out our other reactions, reviews, and short films. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.